about them Irish?
I can't take it anymore. I need a national championship.
This is the Four Horsemen podcast.
And we are back and better than ever. It is game week 1 of the Four Horsemen podcast. You know who we are, you know why we're here, and what we're about to do. And let me tell you, everyone, it's been a long 8 months to get to this point. We are recording early. I have some life things going on that I won't be able to record next week. But we are here. It is game week. And we are raring to go down to Louisville and beat the Cardinals. Hi, everyone.
How's it going, man? How's life?
It's pretty good. I have my new Brady Quinn for the booth button. I know this is an audio podcast, but we're trying to drive Doug Flutie out of the booth. No one wants to hear him. So, Brady, if you're listening, which I know you are, we want you to announce our games. And really, I'm just fired up right now. We're at 1,000 listeners for 21 podcasts.
Nice.
Dylan,
I'm
static over there.
Yeah, I mean, big stuff going on for us. Whole $3 in ad revenue.
$432.
$432, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that money.
It's
Split
like
three ways.
$20 Canadian.
Fair point. That'll pay my first month's rent. Thank you.
Did you find a house?
I did. Yes, we signed a lease.
Awesome.
How's
So that was
Montreal?
Montreal was hectic because I went there for about 24 hours and left. But it's beautiful. It's French. The city's very flamboyant. In a good way.
They have an inferior hockey team with a bunch of whiny bitches, correct?
I am no fan of the Montreal Canadiens, so I will agree with that.
Now,
okay, perfect. So
before we really jump into football, I have to talk to you about this, Dylan. How old are you?
Oh, boy. 21, and I'll be 22 very, very soon.
And you just got a Facebook today.
This is correct. I've been one of my greatest prides in life has been avoiding Facebook. I've avoided all the peer pressure of my time because when I was a kid, Facebook blew up, and I've avoided it. But to be included in events and knowing what's going around campus, I kind of just have to start networking, and people choose Facebook as the platform. So I did make a Facebook today.
Dylan, when you were in the not double digits, I can't do the math right now, we had to be invited to Facebook. Not just join.
You needed a legitimate. You needed a college. What's it called? It's not screen
email.
Name. College email.
A dot screen name, as Steve would say. So you've missed the boat so much by just avoiding Facebook, and I thought it was a Canadian thing, but no, it's just you.
It's just a me thing.
It's wild. So
Twitter is the superior platform. That's my opinion.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, lost me there.
I basically have a Facebook at this point strictly for the pictures.
I have it for the memes.
Who gets their memes from Facebook?
When you're 28
All right,
years old,
the 2019 Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yes.
Who wants to lead us off? What's the first topic, boys?
We're going to go through the roster real quick. Kelly had his press conference today. He really went through some different pieces of the offense and the defense. So I'll start. Really of note, and Dylan, you can jump in whenever you want. They said Ian Book had his best practice today, which is awesome to hear. And Phil Jerkovic really got his footwork down this offseason. So he's ready to go. He's ready to contribute. But what I'm really excited about is our special teams. I know you all don't care about the special teams. Kickers are people too. Harrison Leonard is in a battle with Jonathan Dorr for the field goal kicker spot. And then we have a new punter, Jay Bramblett. He came from Alabama, number one punter out of the state of Alabama, and he is taking the country by storm. He'll be the top punter this year. Hopefully we don't have to use him. And really, other than that, other notes, Kyle Hamilton really took off. He'll be in our dime package on 3rd and long. Kyle Hamilton is 6'3", and he plays like he's 5'11". So he's a shifty, tall guy, which is what we need. So that's just a broad overview of some players that I want to watch out for this year. So I'll let Dylan have it now. Hit it.
Well, we were talking about in our very exclusive group chat, which is for football and important, serious topics only, about the secondary depth. Something that's really surprising for Steve and myself, at least, is how many good corners and safeties we have. You count at least 5 corners who are capable of playing. Troy Pride Jr., Houston Griffiths, Sean Crawford, who apparently is looking like he's going to win a starting spot, which is a testament considering that he's coming off back-to-back ACL tears. On top of that, you got Tariq Bracy, who I didn't believe was a real player until about week 10 last year. Seems like he's got a lot of talent there. And Dante Vaughn, P's favorite cornerback.
He should transfer.
Well, I mean, look, if he's your 5th guy, that's pretty good. That's my point I'm making here is, he's got some attributes. And then you look at the safety position, you got perhaps the best safety duo in the country with Alohi Gilman and then Jalen the Murderer Elliott. And then you got Kyle Hamilton rotating in there. So really, it's going to be a really deep squad. I don't know who's going to throw on us, at least not with the pressure coming up front. It's going to be a very stingy pass defense. I think we can take a few injuries, but just having more depth probably prevents that with more rotation. So it's something I look forward to seeing is kind of the secondary, which is something I don't know if we highlighted too much this offseason.
Yeah, and just to jump in real quick, not to interrupt anything Steve might want to say, but Gilman and Elliott played way too much last year. Good football teams, have the ability to rotate their corners and safeties when needed. And that prevents that overuse injury. Not saying that we're going to put a pitch count on Elliott or Gilman, but it does allow for them to get some air, get a breather when needed. So when you have the skill set that doesn't fall off with a Hamilton on the field or anyone like that, it's definitely going to be helpful. So that's just my point there. It's nice to have a rotation rather than just hope that the 11 guys you have are your 11 guys.
Yeah, definitely. Depth is huge, especially when it comes to the front 7. And I mean, the offensive side of the ball is a little bit different. Obviously, you're not going to be rotating offensive linemen all that often, but we are going to be rotating defensive linemen pretty often. Our front 7 on defense, there's a lot of depth there. Specifically this year, we're just going to focus on linebackers for a quick minute. So it looks as though Jeremiah Owusu Kamara, he's just flat out won the rover position. And it's funny because he was actually the first ever true rover prospect that was recruited by Brian Kelly. And it's taken quite some time for him to get on the field. I believe he's a junior in the classroom, redshirt sophomore on the field. He might be a year older in both regards, but so he's experienced. He's been on the team for a while, took some time to get on the field. But, he was behind Drew Tranquil, who is in the NFL now. So there's no shame in that. So he's going to be the rover. And then the buck, forgive me if I'm wrong, at the buck position, it's Asmar Bilal, who last year he actually got some time at the rover position as well. And he rotated in and out, at a few different positions. And then it looks like the Will linebacker, that's going to start with Drew White. This is his first time really getting a lot of reps. So Drew White, is a 3-star prospect. He is also a redshirt sophomore, junior on in the classroom, and he's from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, St. Thomas Aquinas. He had a very prolific career at St. Thomas Aquinas, which is one of the premier high school teams in the state of Florida and in the nation. So this kid has played on winning teams with a lot of talent around him. If you're good enough to get recruited by Notre Dame as a 3-star, that means there's something going for you there. Obviously, you're good enough to get onto almost every other roster. So I'm excited to see what Drew White will bring. Hopefully, there's a couple of years ago. I'm blanking. I think he destroyed his leg in one of the bowl games. Jarrett.
Yes.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, so hopefully, it took him some time to get onto the field, but I believe he has a lot of upside. He's going to be rotating pretty heavily with a few of the other guys on the team, and I don't have my phone with me to find the tweet now. So the names are escaping me. If anyone else can throw me a bone here.
Jack Lamb was one.
Jack Lamb, he actually tore his ACL, I believe, either preseason or in the Army All-American game, one or the other. But Jack Lamb's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Jack Lamb, very, very highly recruited 4-star, true freshman last year, and I believe he did redshirt, so he keeps his freshman status. And then also Jordan Genmark Heath, who is a redshirt junior, so he's a senior. So this is potentially his last year. He is Swedish. He's black but Swedish, so it's very interesting. But hey, you know what? He's one hell of a talented athlete, and he's also exploded onto the scene where he's going to be getting a lot of snaps as well. So obviously, a lot of these guys are fresh, not too much in terms of experience, but there's I think that there's not going to be too much of a drop off from last year. So that's exciting to know that even though the linebacker core, it's fresh this year in terms of talent, and I think they're going to be fine.
So I got the tweet right here for you from blueandgold.com. Drew White will play the Mike linebacker position, which I believe the Mike is the Buck.
No.
Position? No?
No. The Mike is the middle linebacker. The Buck.
Yeah, so I was mistaken. I should not have said Will because we don't have a Will on our team. So it's Rover, Buck, and Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he'll play the Mike against Louisville, but there will be rotation of 3 to 4 other players at inside linebacker. Now I don't know if that means rotating with White or rotating at the Buck, but the rotation at the Buck will be Bilal, Lamb, Simon, and Genmark Heath. So I don't know if this Drew White kid has won the position outright or if he's rotating with them. But apparently, Bilal has not won a spot like we thought he would.
Yeah, just to speak on that as a football coach, he's the one who really has the first spot. I mean, fucking Louisville and Bowling Green, you don't need a number one starter there. You just need a body to occupy space at that point. So they're using these first 2 games in that bullshit bye week as probably a evaluation period to figure out what horses they want out there for the Georgia game. So I think that's why we're seeing this right now. So it's pretty interesting to see where at least where we're at in that regard.
Yeah.
You want to give a special introduction there, P? Or
yes.
Where are we at?
It looks like we had our 4th horseman join. You know her on Twitter as Katie with a whole bunch of E's after Marie. Katie joined us last season for the bowl special to talk about being drunk and not going out in Colorado when Notre Dame was playing Stanford, I believe. So Katie, welcome to the podcast. And are you also podcasting from the back of an Uber like Steve?
No, I actually was going to do that, but I didn't want to be rude when I had to get out of the car and walk on the streets of New York. So I am currently in my room waiting for Postmates to get here.
What'd you order tonight?
I got buffalo chicken pizza and garlic knots.
Good.
All right. Well, Stevie over here is on a wedding diet, so if you could just not talk about food right now, I'm about to kill myself.
Yikes! Sorry.
And for those at home with the bingo card, Steve referencing him killing himself, check that box off. So
and my wedding, that's 2 boxes.
And what about that golf thing you did?
I did get a hole-in-one. People
We're
forget
3 for
that
3. That
Yes.
is a
Yeah.
strikeout.
I
So-
did get a hole-in-one. And if we want to
Yeah.
go 4 for 4 and get a grand slam, I have a bachelor party this weekend. So I'm going to drink a bunch of White Claws.
All right, now that Steve got to brag about his life, we're going back to the offense. So, really, just to touch on the offense right now, you have Book, you have Jerkovic, no difference there. We lost another receiver, collarbone injury, Michael Young. Could have been Steve. He also broke a collarbone.
That's true.
but
It did happen.
Really, these Notre Dame fans are Chicken Little, running around saying the sky is falling because Michael Young isn't playing football right now. This man had 9 receptions. 9.
I was
Or-
personally high on Mike Young coming into this year.
But
Seems like a very athletic guy that was ready to break out, but we do have depth, and I'll let you touch on that now.
we have your boy that you brought up 2 podcasts ago, the All-American trap star. I hope you have his name because I don't.
Braden Lindsay.
Braden Lindsay. Braden Lindsay is going to be the breakout star this year, even though I can't remember his name. He has the speed that we need on the outside. Michael Young with his 7 receptions. Oh, okay, he's gone. He hurts. But when you have speed coming in, we're going to be fine. So
How long is he injured for? What's the
It's a-
ETA on that?
the collarbone that he got surgery on yesterday.
And how long is that going to take to recover?
It could be as early
think
as
they-
4 weeks. It could be as late as 8 weeks. So it just depends on the recovery.
So between Georgia and USC?
USC, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
There's still lots of good wide receiver talent there. Obviously, Fink returning. Chase Claypool, by all accounts, has been just phenomenal this last week, which should surprise nobody given what country he's from. Plus, on top of that, you get Lindsay, like you mentioned. I think we have Kevin Austin, right? Is that his name? Yeah. So
Yep.
I think we're going to be pretty good there. I really have faith in Chip Long's offense. I really have faith in Ian Book this year. I wish he would have kept the mustache. But regardless, I think this offense is going to be potent enough that we're going to win some ball games.
Also, no one's talking about the running backs. You have Jafar Armstrong, you have Tony Jones, both coming back. They're the
And-
horses that you need right there.
More importantly, Lance Taylor, I do apologize. Lance Taylor, brand new running backs coach. He was out in Stamford for a while, so
Yep.
he's coached up, I believe, Toby Gerhart and Christian
He did.
McCaffrey.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we can get like a tenth of the freaking production of those 2 guys, it's obviously promising and would take a lot of pressure off of Ian Book. And we do have one hell of an offensive line in front of him that's going to hopefully open up a lot of holes.
When their center is one of their top 3 tackles, that's a good thing. So,
Yeah.
you have
And
people where you need.
Just yeah, and being the newbie here, just a couple minutes behind, did want to give you, Katie, as much time as you wanted or needed now to just give us your thoughts about the roster in general, some of your favorite players, somebody you might be high on. So the floor is yours.
I'm definitely big on Armstrong. Oh, did I unmute myself? Oh,
Nope, you're
okay,
good.
I did. Sorry. I'm definitely big on
Rookie.
Armstrong this season. I've never used this app before. I only used the other one. Like I said, Armstrong. I think he's gonna like really shine this season. But can I get my predictions for the first game, or are we not doing that yet?
We're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think he's my number 1 for this season. I'm really looking for him to help us out here. Hold on. I had notes that I took because I got stressed out about this.
She's already better than all of us. There we go.
And then, well, I guess it's mostly my prediction notes, but like, obviously in Book, I also wish he kept the mustache. I'm kind of upset about that. But yeah, I'm really looking at Armstrong for this season for us.
Good old
He's a
Jafar.
strong player.
May as well just hit and right into Louisville here, see what we have on them, and then we'll get into the game predictions. So Katie can kind of take us away. Anybody?
You want me to get my predictions now? Sorry.
No, I just meant we'll get through Louisville, so we can
Okay.
get your predictions because you seem to have the most homework done. So Steve, you seem to be miserable as always. How do you feel about Louisville?
What was their legitimate record last year? What were they, 3-9?
I got all this set up. So it's 2-10. Their wins both at home against Indiana State and Western Kentucky.
The Hilltoppers.
Key losses, although to be fair, they almost beat Florida State last year. That's how bad FSU was. So fuck them.
Who was what, 5-7?
Yep.
Yes, but their key losses: Alabama, they've lost 51-14. At Virginia, they lost 27-3. Georgia Tech blew them out 66-31. Boston College beat them by 18.
Fired.
Clemson, and I've been really waiting to say this, has beaten Louisville last year 77-16. So they're shit.
So Notre Dame is confirmed better at playing Clemson than Louisville. So we have that going for us.
Barely, but yes.
That hurt. Okay. Yeah, my quick thoughts on it. I mean, it's Louisville. They've been a joke for a while. I didn't even think they were particularly good with who is their recent quarterback, Lamar Jackson. I think he's shit, especially given the fact that he's in the same division as the Steelers. He can suck my balls. Yeah, I mean, whatever. They're kind of a pathetic Power 5 program. They're nothing special, and you know what I'm gonna say. It involves killing and myself. So let's just not lose to them.
Vegas right now. Hit it, Dylan.
I was just gonna say Teddy Bridgewater was also their quarterback at one point, so they're not completely terrible as a program. But yes, I think we all know that this is a very must-win game, expected to win game. So what does Vegas have to say about it, P?
Vegas has Louisville this year as a 3-win team. The over/under set at 3. 3
flat.
3 flat.
Wow.
Just not 3.5, just 3. So that's a thing.
We're afraid to play
Notre
Virginia.
Dame.
Let's put it that way.
So let me get this straight. They have the same win-loss over/under prediction as USC.
USC's at 5.
That was a joke. Laugh.
We'll put the laugh track in post. But the spread right now is 30.5.
Yeah.
30.5.
Yeah.
So I'll go. I've done no research on the team. I know Brian Van Gorder is no longer their defensive coordinator. So that's not good. We won't be able to hang 80 on the Van Gorders. Scott Satterfield is the coach right now. He's a rookie head coach going into a Brian Kelly coached offense. Have fun with that, bud. So
I will say, in Brian Van Gorder's defense, he might have the greatest gif of all time. You know which one I'm talking about, the fist pump.
The fist pump.
I'll give you something on Louisville here, so some numbers on them. And just two key ones. In terms of their offense, points for, they scored 19.8 points a game, which is tied for 125th in college.
Out of how many?
There are 126 teams.
There's at least 128, because that's my next stat. The points they've given up was 44.1 per game, which is 128th in college football. So either they are the worst defense and the third worst offense, or they're near that bottomless pit. So I don't think this is one to be worried about. I don't know if they can overcome that in 1 year of improvement and development and recruiting. But do with that what you will. If you're an optimist, that means Notre Dame will cover. If you're a pessimist like Steve, we'll somehow lose. Yeah.
I'm worried. The only reason I'm worried is that it's Labor Day. It's an away game. It's 8 p.m. on ABC. And my heart's been broken before on primetime games. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. I'm not worried about their ticky-tack uniforms that they're going to wear. I'm worried about a whole bunch of liquored up Louisvillians out there creating a Miami-like scene, but there's only 50 fans who go to games like that. So
I think Miami of Ohio is what you were referring to.
Yes. They call Louisville the Miami of Ohio of Kentucky.
They will now. That's a thing.
Yes, we'll start that. So, Katie, hit us with what you got, your research you did.
All right, so I'm thinking that Louisville doesn't score over 21 points. Book does 300 passing yards and at least 3 passing touchdowns. And Armstrong is 75 rushing yards with 1 rushing touchdown.
All right, that's the betting odds.
I'd
You
hammer
guys
that
have heard
over.
it. Yep.
Hammer all the overs.
Except for the Louisville points. I honestly,
They're not
if
scoring
I'm giving
21.
a concrete prediction here, legitimately, like, I don't know, 44-13.
I'll one up you. 52-3. Phil Jerkovic plays the entire fourth quarter and scores a rushing touchdown.
Does Katie have anything else to say? Like, I don't know if there was
Sorry,
more
Katie.
to it. We might have cut her off.
We got really
No,
excited
it's
there.
fine. That was really all my
We get excited.
My predictions for the game. It's okay. I'm used to being interrupted, but no, that was all I had for that.
Do you want to give us a score?
Oh God. 45 to
Suspense.
I can't think off the top of my head. I say 45-7.
Okay. Dylan?
That works. Honestly, that's probably going to be the winning prediction.
Let's say I'll say 48. I think Notre Dame's got to start scoring in the 40s against these teams, and this is a team that you can score perhaps even 50 on. But I'll say 48 to be modest there. And then I think we'll give up 3 field goals, maybe like 8, 9 points. Yeah, unless they score a touchdown and they miss. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be moving the ball a lot on us. Sorry, guys, I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm going to go 45-9, 3 field goals. And even then, we'll be kind of upset that they even got within field goal range on 3 attempts. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a beatdown. And I think we should, as we all know, with our passing defense, just kind of smother them.
Yeah, I would
right, yeah.
agree.
I have an interesting question. Over under 4.5 turnovers forced by the Notre Dame defense.
Under, going with 4.
Yeah, I'd say 3.
Katie?
Muted.
Looks like she's muted. I think she might have dropped off. She'll be back in just a moment, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm actually going with more. I think between the defensive line, not only is it Khalid Kareem and and also, geez, again, why am I always blanking on these names?
Okwara.
Your preseason
Julian
as
Okwara, thank you. Adi Agundejo, I think is the way that you say it. He's kind of a freak athlete too. He's very long and can creep through the holes, and hopefully when he gets in on rotation and like some nickel packages, he'll be able to get after the quarterback. So strip sacks, fumbles, interceptions. Let's see Kyle Hamilton get into the game and return a pick 6. That'll be awesome. I think we're going over 4.5. I'm predicting 5 turnovers by the Irish. So yeah, we have covered now. The general roster breakdown. I mean, there's a lot of returning starters. Clearly, a little bit of turnover at some key positions, but we covered that. Also covered basically the pathetic program that is Louisville. Anything up next on the docket?
Yeah, so what we're going to try to do each week, if you retweet us or ask us a question, we're going to answer it no matter what it is. So really, Dylan, I know you had a few that we had come in from the 4 Horsemen account at Horsemen Pod.
Yeah, I believe we got one. A question asking, other than Michigan, Georgia, and Stanford, which game, and what was the wording there? Do you have that?
Other than,
if I remember correctly, which road game are we most afraid of?
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't use my phone or else I'm going to totally explode my computer here. Once again, I am using my personal Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever the hell it's called to use as my Wi-Fi to stream this. So I'm sorry if
That's all right.
the quality is not that great.
Biggest worry spot on the schedule that isn't Georgia, Michigan, or Stanford. So it could be home or away game. Thank you from Evan Scrimshaw. Also check out Lean Toss Up podcast if you're into Canadian polling on politics. Had to do a shout out there. So that's a very good question. Yeah, well, he's my friend, so he's gonna shout us out. We're gonna shout him out. So, what do you guys think? I know Steve has an answer.
I'm gonna defer to Patty on this.
It's bullshit. It's that ACC network game, that Duke game, and I don't care. They're going 14-0. We're winning national championship, so it's not the game that I'm worried about. Is that this bullshit ESPN monopoly that they have on the ACC? That's what I'm worried about. Notre Dame has to go down to Duke, probably going to play at noon, and it's bullshit. So ESPN has a stranglehold with the new ACC network that you have to have the ACC network to watch certain games. So it's just absolute shit. So I'm not worried about the game. I'm worried about how I'm going to be watching that game because of the hypocrites and the individuals at ESPN who are taking our Irish and throwing them onto some bullshit network that 5 people are going to watch. So there's that.
To be fair, we do get revenue from the ACC network, so it does make sense to put us on the game.
But no, that's not the thing, Dylan. It's that Notre Dame should be held to a higher
We are
standard.
Notre Dame. We don't have games that are not televised.
Pay-per-view.
We televise every game at a national level.
So, that's the big issue that I have. And the other issue, back in... This is going to date me. 05 with a big question mark there. Air Force played Notre Dame, and there was no way to watch the game on television. Me and my grandpa sat on his Dell or Gateway PC with a window that was probably the size of my Skype window right now and watched the entire game. And that's the last time I've had to scrounge to watch a Notre Dame game. So it's bullshit.
Really? Because I've had a few experiences like that. I think there was one game against Air Force. Yeah, that's another thing. Well, the Boston College game in 2015 at Fenway Park.
Katie and I were there.
NBCSN, that wasn't available to us at all. So I had to figure out another way to watch it.
Katie and I don't remember that game.
Well, I remember that game perfectly fine.
I don't. They ran out of water that game.
But just to fill Katie in, who's having technical problems, we were answering a fan question which said, biggest worry spot on the schedule that isn't Georgia, Michigan, or Stanford. So do you have a specific game that worries you?
That isn't one of those. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Give me
I can fill in here and give you a little bit of just a quick minute to think. So P-Wagon, he stole my answer of Duke. That's a concerning one. It's November. It's on the road. Duke has really stepped their game up to be a basically an 8-9 win program, and they've had a couple of upsets over the years, or at least some tight games with some good programs. So they're definitely going to be a good one. I guess if Duke is taken as an answer, I thought that Virginia really would not be that great, basically. But I have actually read some rumblings that apparently they do have like an All-American at corner. They do have a couple of talented players that could potentially make a difference. They're going to be coming into South Bend. They're going to be hungry. The good news is it isn't South Bend, but we've seen this team fail before against teams that they should put away easily. So, and that's the week after Georgia. So
if I can get to be a contrarian here, I'll tell you guys why it isn't Duke, and that's because that Duke's quarterback is gone. In fact, he's stuck on the New York Giants, and it's hilarious.
That was rude.
But
with Julian Love.
Yeah, it was a great draft pick. I will give the Giants credit. That was a fantastic draft pick. Here's the thing. A lot of football is determined by quarterback play. And Daniel Jones, despite not being where I thought he should have gone in the draft, and most people, he was still a good quarterback. He was a good college quarterback, and Duke was good because of it. The issue I have is he's gone, but I think there's a scarier game on that schedule, and it comes after Michigan, and that's
Oh
going to
my
be
God.
Virginia Tech at home. So here's the thing: you're going to have a very emotional game against Michigan, especially if you win that game. And
When?
we've seen before, yeah, agreed. When we've seen that hangover, that off a tough game, Notre Dame just plays pretty bad, especially if it's against a team that's not good enough to kind of get you hyped up for it, but is still good enough to kind of get a sneaky win off you. We've seen that in our history before. And I think
Nevada.
just in general, there are some tough games after big games. There's some trap games in there, and I think that Virginia Tech game, even though it is at home, Virginia Tech, I believe they're playing for their head coach. It's last season. Is that right?
Yep. Bud Foster's leaving after this year.
Notre Dame, of course, like every program, is the biggest game of your schedule, and if you got to go to Ann Arbor under the lights, 115,000 people. Get a grueling game. Hopefully we win. You got to go back and get hyped up again for Virginia Tech. That's one that scares me. So I understand the Duke argument, but I'm a little more worried about VT.
Katie?
All right. Well, my VT answer was just taken.
Oh, but also just going off of that real quick, Virginia Tech is November 2nd. Remember what I said last week. Hammer the under. They're all going to be hungover from Halloween being on a Thursday. Go on.
Don't know how relevant that would be, but okay, I'll give you that.
Katie, you went to college.
I did go to college. You're correct. But anyways, I'm gonna go with BC maybe.
Good pick.
And
Yep.
because sometimes
They
have
always
those-
give us a hard time, so that is a great pick.
And we're wearing those
Exactly.
terrible jerseys.
Yeah, I know. And I'm thinking of back in 2017 when it was 19-16, and that's when we won when they played at Fenway. And how close the scores always usually are when they play each other.
That's a great pick.
They also have a history of just kind of Notre Dame on the verge of winning a national championship, and psych, Boston College is going to beat you by a field goal.
And Doug Flutie announce that game?
Doug Flutie better be fired by that point. I swear to God. If Brady Quinn, I know this has been, you got the button, but I swear I've been the first person to be on the Brady Quinn train. I've been saying it for years that guy is too talented to be at Fox Sports. He should be in the booth for Notre Dame. Notre Dame should have a pro Notre Dame guy because it's our fucking network. Sorry.
Dylan.
Blood's boiling.
Go.
No, but
yes, go King.
You had
it's
Malik Zaire
Flutie.
too. Imagine a booth where you had Malik Zaire and Brady Quinn. That would just be an electric booth.
Cool.
Joe Theismann, throw him in there.
Yeah, all the
Fucking-
quarterbacks.
Let's have Lou Holtz do the pregame and halftime analysis. Like, this has got to be a full-on Notre Dame network. Like, we got to get every biased homer, just awful person, but awful in a good way, on our program.
That's how we'll do press passes. Really, just a couple more questions here, a couple niceties, and we'll wrap up. Katie, last week we did our season predictions. What's yours?
My season predict. Oh God.
There's 14 games, as a reminder.
Thank you. I say we lose 3.
No, you're wrong already. You
I'm
said
gonna hang up
lose.
on you.
That's not good.
Sorry, guys.
You can't.
I'd rather be a pessimist.
But
than
let's try that.
be
We'll cut
happily
that.
I am. I am
Can I
try
give my
that
being
again.
reasoning
pessimist.
here? Can I give my reasoning here?
Sure.
I'd rather be a pessimist about it and then be extremely surprised. Obviously, I'm not going to be surprised, but I'd rather not have my hopes up too high, as I usually do, because I usually go into every season thinking we're going to go win a national championship, and I get my heart broken. Thank you, Clemson.
To be fair, we did go 12-0 last year. So where are
I
those
do
3
know
losses
that.
coming from?
Putting me on the spot here. I was just
I think she's more so going with the superstition than rationalizing.
Thank you.
I'll go with
That's
that.
exactly
But
it.
now-
I don't
And
wanna
and
rationalize.
typically I
Dylan-
am on your side here, Katie.
But are
and
you trying
because
your
Dylan
reverse
put you on the
psychology
spot.
now?
Dylan put you on the spot there. I'll let you put him on the spot now. What question do you have about Canada for Dylan?
Oh, okay. So I actually did research on this one, and I called one of my Canadian coworkers and asked what. Apparently, you guys have a fast food chain called like New York Fries. What the hell is that?
Yeah, there is something called New York fries. I've never had
This
it.
man just spits on them.
It's
It's disgusting.
it's probably it. It's at every food court mall in Canada. It's just a law that every food court must have a New York fries. I've never been there. I think they do some poutine, which should be sacrilegious. I can't tell you honestly if it's any good or not, but that is a thing. There is a food chain called New York fries.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that was my
It
question
is-
about Canada.
Is poutine or
Is it
poutine, whatever it is?
Poutine?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very interesting one. It depends on your accent. So it's a French word, poutine, but English people can't pronounce French words, so they say poutine, which makes me want to throw up. So I'll let you get away with poutine, but the proper pronunciation is poutine.
What's the difference between that and disco fries?
I don't know what disco fries are.
It's like
Disco fries have
poutine-
gravy
Yeah, it's just fries and gravy.
Cheese curds.
and cheese. Well, no, there's cheese on disco fries too.
Yeah, they're melted cheese. That
Yeah.
Then it's a
Mexican man makes in the back of
shittier
his army.
stolen version of the poutine.
Okay, really quickly, just out of sheer curiosity here, Dylan, roast me in French.
I don't want to. I don't know what to say about you in English that I would then have to
very
translate.
easy to make fun of me.
Okay.
It's the word for gindaloon in French.
I'll say tu es merde, which is you are shit. So there
Okay,
you
That's
go.
boring.
fair enough. You
I'm
let
sorry,
me down.
I don't
easy
know what
there.
to say them. But
No,
like
that's quite all right.
what?
I guess
I like
it's
Steve.
we're coming in on our closing thoughts here.
Yes.
Obviously, we all are pretty high on at the very least starting off hot 1-0 against the absolute shit stain of a Power 5 conference that is Louisville. We've been through season predictions. We've been through every high and low that you could possibly have as a Notre Dame fan, and we know those lows can go very low. Any particular closing thoughts or any last segments we wanted to get to? We got just a couple minutes left here.
Katie?
How
Closing
many
thoughts?
games do you think Brian Kelly's going to be drunk at this year?
None.
This
Are
isn't
you
Southern
positive
Cal.
on that?
We're trying to
coach
get him
can't
on
drink.
the podcast, Katie. We can't disparage him until he starts losing.
That's my coach.
Yeah, he's not Steve
I wasn't
Sarkisian.
saying it as a bad thing, but it's just
What
a
is he, Lane
prediction.
Kiffin? Going to Boca Singles Bar? Steve looks like he's Lane Kiffin right now.
I do look like Lane Kiffin, actually. Is this appropriate for a bachelor party in Lake Winnipesaukee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you're good.
perfect.
All right, Katie, anything else you got?
No, that was my only question, which no one wanted to answer. So
Brian
We're
Kelly
protective of
is
the
our
boss,
Lord
man.
and Savior.
I'm not saying that he's not, but we all know he does like to dabble on the
Okay,
sidelines.
I don't know about this. What are you talking about?
She's
Wait,
saying that
you guys
Brian
didn't
Kelly is
know
a drunk
that Brian
Irishman.
Kelly gets drunk before games. Like you can tell, like the drunker he is on the field.
That's his high
Like-
blood pressure, homie.
No,
He's
'cause
Irish.
he goes
He's
out there.
when he
so-
gets angry. When I
Mhm.
get angry, my blood pressure rises because I'm
Okay.
240 pounds. He's in
Also
the same boat.
but also
That-
same. But what I'm trying
You're
to
also a
say is
leprechaun, P.
it is a known fact that he does drink on the sidelines.
Yeah, maybe at his bullshit Division 2, Division 3 job he was at, he's not drinking at the
Hey,
University
hey,
of Notre Dame.
I am Valid
It
State,
literally
two-time
happened at
national
the
champ.
BC game we were at. Are you
I-
kidding me?
I'm just gonna, for legal protections here, say that this is parody or something, just because we don't want to get hit with a slander libel case from
It's
the
all-
Kellys.
All
Lawyer
alleged.
Bill.
It's alleged. It's alleged.
Allegedly.
My coach is a saint. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brian Kelly could do no wrong.
All right.
Fair.
Well, I guess that brings us at a wrap, I suppose. So before we
I'm
get
never going to
any-
be allowed back on this podcast.
Yeah, you might have to be
Well-
put in the penalty box for a couple of weeks.
Let's just say over under amount of games where he has a very red face, 4.5. Dylan, go.
Under, he hasn't had a red face since 2011.
Katie, go.
I say 5 games.
Patty,
Under 2. He's going to
Okay.
be happy when he wins and maybe one other game.
I'm going with the under as well. I think we're going to be good. So I think that wraps anything up unless anyone had any other thoughts.
Subscribe, unsubscribe, rate 5 stars. Thank you to all 1,000 of you who have listened to us over the last 21 weeks. Joe Polano, we miss you. Come back home.
Basically,
name and
anybody wants to kind of get on as a guest, just hit us up.
Slide
Message
in
either
Dylan's
me
DMs.
or P or even Steve.
Mostly Dylan. Steve's a married man. He can't have anyone sliding in his DMs.
Facts.
Sure. So let us know. We love your questions. Thanks for the one we got. We will incorporate them into the future podcasts. And last words on Louisville. This is their week 1 prediction preview.
Go Irish, beat Cardinals.
Make Notre Dame great again.
I don't have anything to say after that.
All right, go Irish. You folks enjoy your Rudy watching. Try not to touch yourself while you're doing it. I know it's hard for us Notre Dame fans. That's all.
All
Ready
right.
to win for the booth.